Welcome to another episode of Confessions with the Small Biz Mama. My name is Kristen Ingram and I am your host. I am a CPA. I am CEO of Ingram Digital Media, and I am the founder of Bookkeeper Training School. And I've spent the last 20 years helping businesses grow and thrive no matter what the conditions. And I'm super excited about this month because this month we are going to focus on spring cleaning. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, Kristen, really? Really? Okay. But I'm not talking about cleaning your house. Okay. We are going to be working on spring cleaning all of the areas of our lives and our business 1 week at a time. Okay. So we're going to cover a new topic every single week on the podcast, on our social media. And so if you are not following our page, make sure you do so. The link is in the show notes for this episode. You can also go to smallbizmama.com and you can follow us there. But actually talking about social media, this is a great place to start because we're actually going to start talking about spring cleaning your social media this week. And so the reason that I actually wanted to start with this is because I think that social media has it has such a huge impact on our time. We are spending so much time there. We're spending so much effort there. And I really believe that if we can get this piece kind of squared away first, it's going to be really good for our mental health. It's going to be really good for our time. And so that's why I wanted to start there. Okay. So that's what we're doing today. So we're going to talk about 4 questions that you need to ask yourself. And I really want you to write these down. I want you to spend some time reflecting on them before you start putting your plan in place. Okay. And this is going to kind of help you get that plan together. The reason cleaning up social media is important is because you have to go there for your business. I mean, you really do. Especially if you're a service provider, it is a way that you are going to connect with the people around you, right? Whether it's other businesses, that's really where we're building relationships now, especially in the age of COVID. But I think people now more than ever are looking up businesses online and they're looking up the owners of the businesses online. And so you have to have some presence there, but let's be conscious of what that presence looks like and what we want it to be. Okay. So that's what we're going to do today. You excited? All right. See, that sounds so much better than like taking out like the broom and sweeping off the back steps. Okay. We're getting there. This is good. Okay. All right. So question number 1 that I want you to ask yourself, and this is when you're considering these questions, this is all your social media. So this is your personal and your business, because on most of these platforms, you're interacting with other people as yourself. And so your personal profile and your business profile are intertwined together. I can't tell you how often people will hunt me down after seeing one of our ads for Bookkeeper Training School because they want to see that I'm a real person. And they want to make sure that Bookkeeper Training School is not a scam. And that's why for us, it was really important for our business to, get our Better Business Bureau accreditation, to join the U.S. Chamber, to make sure that we were set up properly so that we are a legitimate business. We're not fly by night. You can check up on our company and, find our info. And that's why it was really important to me to do that. And you're going to find that as you're in business, people are going to, if you network in groups, you're going to be networking as yourself. Okay. And so the first thing that I want you to think about all of your platforms, right? What do you use social media for? Okay, and the answers might be different on different platforms. Like, for example, for me, for Pinterest is like a filing cabinet for me. We are going to be running ads on Pinterest, but Jeff is handling that. But for me personally, that's my filing cabinet. That's where I put all my cool ideas. When I see something, I'm like, oh, can I pin this? And that's really what I use that for. I don't interact with it a whole lot. Now, Facebook is where I do the vast majority of my networking, the vast majority of my interaction, although I'm really pulling that back. And we'll talk about that. But essentially, what is social media for me? Social media is a marketing tool, and it also allows me to keep up with people that I don't get to see very often. So we've got family and friends all over the country. And so social media is the place where I share pictures of Eric and I talk about what's going on in our lives. And so for me, balancing those two things is important. Now, what I don't use social media for, I don't use it for arguing with you about politics or really much of anything anymore. I don't want it to be a place that makes me feel bad. I don't want it to be a place where people think that they have the right to abuse me, okay, or tear down what I'm trying to do. And so the reason that that's important, okay, the reason why I specifically say that is because I know for a lot of you, social media has become a place where you don't feel that you can post about your business because you're worried that somebody in your life is going to start problems. And so social media has become a place where you don't feel comfortable, where you don't want to go, where you don't feel you can be you. If that is the case for you, okay, then it's time to start blocking and deleting. One of my favorite sayings in Bookkeeper Training School, and I say this all the time, no one has the right to be on your Facebook. I don't care who they are. If they're going to treat you like crap, nobody has the right to do that in your space. Nobody has the right to tear apart your dreams, to tear you down, and frankly, to make you feel like you can't build something because you need to walk on eggshells around them. Okay. And if you get nothing else out of this episode, I want you, when you go through these questions, I want you to sit down and say, okay, what am I going to use social media for? And who do I need to block from my posts maybe so that they don't get to do that. And, they don't get to stop me from doing that. They don't get to make me feel like I can't do that. Okay. So number one is to define what you're going to use social media for and what you're not. Okay. And I want you to look at that list and I want you to see if any of those things are at odds with each other. Okay. So for example, if you put down, like, I'm using social media to grow my business, but I also want to talk about politics, those two may not work together. Okay. And that's okay if you're okay with the ramifications of that. So I used to be really, really heavily involved in politics. I am not anymore. I'm kind of burnt out on politics, frankly. And this was before 2016. This was before 2020. But I really got burnt out on politics. But before that, I was like, okay, so, this is my politics. Like I was involved in political parties. I ran for office. I served in public office. I was like on the board of ed, like wasn't anything, but still very time consuming to be on your board of ed. But that was part of who I was, and that was part of my identity. And so sometimes that clashed, right? There were people who would not do business with me because of my political party. You're going to have that on both sides. It doesn't matter. And so if that's why, what are you going to use social media for is the first question we're asking, because sometimes there are things that are diametrically opposed, right? And so you've got to figure out, okay, can I do both, right? And can these two work together? Okay, that's what you need to address, and they can. Okay, you can be a business person who has ideas, who has thoughts, who has beliefs. That is absolutely okay. And I will never tell you to not be who you are. Okay. I absolutely want you to be who you are. I don't want you to hide who you are from the world. Okay. I just want you to go into it with your eyes open. Okay. That these are the ramifications. Okay. And stand by them. Okay. On your social media platforms. Okay. So that's the first question. What do you use social media for? Number two, knowing what you're going to use it for, how much time are you going to spend there? So for me, it's really interesting. What we did recently, we moved our Empower Bookkeeper Network group off of Facebook. We moved it to something called Circle. It's still included. You still get the length of time in the group and the live calls that you would have gotten before. It's just we moved it off of Facebook, because what I found is that when I went into Facebook, there were so many notifications, there were so many things going on. Like I would go online and like my messenger would start popping up, and it was a huge distraction. And so I would go in to help people in the Empower Bookkeeper Network and spend some time answering questions and posting things. And I would be on Facebook for an hour and have spent, 5 minutes in the Empower Bookkeeper Network. And I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I want to help our members. I want to dedicate this time to them. And even like going in, I had a shortcut so I could go right into the Empower Bookkeeper Network. It just wasn't, there's constantly distractions on Facebook, right, that are bumping you all over the place. So we moved our group off. And so now that when I'm going on to Facebook, I am going on to Facebook to check on specific groups that are still there. Or I'm going to do a Facebook Live, which I do Facebook Lives twice a week on our page. Or I am going on there to do limited like browsing to check in on some people. And so I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook anymore. In fact, since we moved the group off, I think all last week I spent less than 2 hours on Facebook. And I think half that time was actually doing lives, or I was actually like, doing live videos. So, which is awesome. It's absolutely fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I want to know, how much time are you going to spend there? Okay. And when are you going to do that? Okay. So it may be that you're going in, you're saying, okay, I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes and I'm going to go in and I'm going to network in a couple of groups that I'm in. I'm going to contribute some content. I'm going to do my social media posting, which that you can all schedule ahead of time. So, as long as you're not getting caught up in feeds, I don't even know that that's necessarily, I consider that more content creation than I do actually social media time. Okay. Because I'm not on the platform, like engaging in the platform. Okay. So first question, what do you use social media for? Number two, how much time are you going to spend there? Okay. And that might have to adjust. You might go in and say, I need more time to network. And then the third question, who do you want to be there? Okay. And so this goes back to what we were talking about a couple minutes ago, that people do not have the right, okay, to be connected with you on social. And so I want you to think about, not engaging with your feed, or blocking some folks, or another thing that you can do is you can put people into groups. So like you can have a close friends group. Okay. And this is really helpful too if you want to be able to post pictures of your kids, but you don't want everybody to see it, right? You can create a close friends group and then put people into that and only let them see, certain things. And that's a way that you can do that. You can be very selective in your settings about who sees what. And that's one way that you can handle some of this, because sometimes the family and friend dynamic, especially if they're people who are toxic. Here's ultimately the thing, right? And this is kind of the way that you can look at this. So typically, toxic people are going to be toxic. They just are, right? And so you can either rip off the Band-Aid and block the person or unfriend the person. If the person has you say, I'm really using social media right now for business purposes. And so there's going to be, a lot of posts about that. And so I'm being, I know that, my friends and family don't necessarily want to see that. So, I'm just kind of cleaning up my friends list a little bit. There you go. Okay. That's one way you could deal with it. But the problem is, if you sit there and go, okay, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to block the person. Then you're dealing with the constant, comments, posts. Oh, I don't want to post this because I don't want this person to say something. So it's like you can either deal with it all at once, right? And then have the freedom to post whatever you want on social media, or not have to deal, head on with it, but then deal with it for the rest of the time you're on social, right? So you have to deal with it either way. So it's just, do you want to deal with it now, or do you want to deal with it, forever? And I know, and sometimes it's really hard. I understand, because it's family dynamics or it's friend dynamics or whatever. I get it. But ultimately, you have to do what's going to make you happy. And I know from talking to folks in the Empowered Bookkeeper Network, some of you are allowing these people to stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. There are people in your life who have so much control. And I know that that's, for a lot of you, you don't see it that way. But you are turning so much power over to these people because you don't want to deal with the reactions. You don't want to deal with the negative comments. You just don't want to deal. And I get it. I get it. But at some point, you have to say enough. And you have to start deciding what your life is going to be like. Okay, so it's critically important that you answer that third question, who do you want to be there? Okay, and see if there are people that maybe should not be there. And you don't have, it doesn't have to be like a big sweeping thing where you go through and, you start, kicking people off the boat. I think if you just keep in your mind that nobody has the right to treat you like crap. If somebody does, gone. Thank you so much for playing. Have a good day. Bye-bye. And honestly, post what you're going to post, do what you're going to do. And if somebody treats you poorly, you delete their comments. Okay. And if the person says, why did you delete my comment? You say, because it was not nice. I'm trying to grow a business here. And so I'm trying to grow a business here. And if the person starts something or they post something else like that again, then block them. Block them so they can't see your posts. Okay. And it's actually kind of funny that most people won't even realize that they can't see your posts. So just saying. Okay. So first question, this is going to touch a lot of stuff for some of you if you start to reflect on this a little bit. Okay. I think this is what I'm asking you to do is not easy. I completely acknowledge that. But getting what you want in life is not always easy. And sometimes if we do the hard work now, it will be easier in the future. Okay. So, what do you want to use social media for? How much time will you spend there? Who do you want to be there? And even sometimes that's just, I go through my Instagram and I'm like, I don't know why I followed these people. I don't know, but I'm not going to follow these people anymore. Or if I see a whole bunch of stuff in my feed, I'm like, I don't even know who these folks are. I start to go through and I whittle down. Okay. So it doesn't even have to necessarily be people you don't like. It's just people that you're not really connecting with anymore. And I think while you're doing that too, you have to decide what your connection policy is going to be on social. So on Facebook, because my Facebook is my main business platform, I connect with most people who look like could be my ideal client. Okay. And so when I get requests, I kind of look through, I look at who else they're connected with. I'll tell you, I don't accept a lot of requests from guys anymore. Guys are not my ideal client. Okay. Unless I know you, unless I actually know you. But my ideal client is women. So I'm going to connect with women on social. Okay. So when those requests come in, you need to have a filter by which you decide, is my Facebook, maybe I'm only going to friend people that I really know, but I allow people to follow me. That's another way that you can kind of segment your posts. Or, am I going to have some criteria for accepting friend requests? It's really important. That's why that who do you want to be there question is really important. Okay. And then what platforms will you focus on? So you've decided what you're going to use social media for, right? You've decided how much time you want to spend there, right? Every day or every week. You've decided who you want to connect with there. Okay. Which platforms are going to serve you best? You can't be everywhere. Okay. You can, but you can't be everywhere well. Okay. So I would like to see you do one platform well. And so if you say, okay, my goal is I want to use social media to grow my business. I'm only going to spend, 30 minutes a day on social. I want to connect with my ideal customer. That's why I want to be there. So what platform are you going to focus on? It might be LinkedIn. It might not be Facebook. It might be LinkedIn. It might be Instagram. It might be Facebook. It might be Clubhouse. Okay. You just need to decide, but I want you to pick one platform and have that be the place you're focusing on. Now, you're like, okay, but Kristen, why do you push Facebook in Bookkeeper Training School? So the reason that I focus on Facebook is because Facebook has the largest user base by far. Okay. It has the most consistent user base by far. Okay. Even with people being annoyed, even with, everything that's going on, people are still checking into Facebook every single day, multiple times a day. Okay. And it's amazing. Like when we moved our group off of Facebook, people were like, oh my God, like I'll never go there. And I'm like, I get it. It's like, you've got the Facebook habit down, put add it to your home screen and put it next to Facebook. Like that's what I told a lot of people to do with our new community. Put it on your home screen, put it next to Facebook. So what platforms will you focus on? Where do you want to, based off of the 3 questions that you answered above, where are you going to put that attention? Okay. And I would, for most of you that are interested in bookkeeping, or being a virtual assistant or being any sort of freelancer at all, it's either going to be Facebook or it's going to be LinkedIn. Okay. Instagram's really nice. But I don't think a lot of people go to Instagram to do business. They really don't. I know a whole bunch of us are trying to do business on Instagram. It almost seems to be right now, and let me know if this is how you're feeling, but Instagram is where I go when I don't want to deal with all the crap from Facebook, right? And it's the place I go. I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I love all the people that I'm connected with who want to do business. I don't want to do business right now. I want to look at beautiful furniture, and I want to look at, I want to look at paint colors, and I want to look at, cool toys for my kids, for my kid. I go to Instagram to escape the Facebook, right? To escape LinkedIn. I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know. But that's kind of how I feel when I go over there. But like, I mean, here's the cool thing, right? Is that you can kind of experiment. So you can say, look, I'm going to take 2 weeks. I'm really going to dive into LinkedIn, and I'm going to see if I can, what I can do with this. I'm going to make connections. I'm going to inbox people. I'm going to do all the things. We talk about all this in Bookkeeper Training School. And make a go of it and see what happens. Okay. If you're on LinkedIn and you're finding that a lot of the small business owners in your community aren't there, or the business owners you want to tap into aren't there, then try something else. One of the things I recommend is to try to kind of cross connect with people. So, post on your LinkedIn wall, hey, do you have a Facebook page? I'd love to follow it. Post it here. Then post on Facebook, hey, are any of you on LinkedIn? Post your profile. Let's connect. Okay. And just kind of do this, Brendan Burchard calls it like circular virality. We're trying to get people to, you're getting your content everywhere. And I'm kind of using that to connect with people. So I want to connect with you on Instagram so I can interact with your stories. I want to connect with you on LinkedIn. Just because like direct messages, inbox messages on LinkedIn are just, that's where all the action's happening, right? That's where all the conversations are happening. So, but the more places you can connect with people, if it takes 7 to 20 touches to make a sale, then you can kind of decide where you want to interact with people. And I know I just said be on one platform. So I post to one platform, but I'm interacting on multiple. Okay. So I might once a week, I might go into LinkedIn for 30 minutes to 45 minutes and just kind of see what people are doing, go check on my connections, see if there are any connections that look interesting. But that's part of my marketing time, right? When I'm trying to grow my business. So when I say focus on one platform, what I mean is that's where you're posting, right? That's where you are putting content out, is on one platform. It's really hard to do multiple. It is. It's really hard to be consistent on one. And so I'd love to see you kind of try to do that first. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions on this. I'd love your thoughts. I'd love your feedback. Go to, you can either go to our page, Bookkeeper Training School, or you can go into our group. We have this great group called the Small Biz Mama Community. You can interact with us there. But let's focus this week on determining what we're going to use our social media for, the time we're going to invest there, who we want to be there, and what platform we're going to focus on. And then let's start implementing that strategy to simplify our social media, use it as the tool that it is, right? To grow our businesses and to bring joy to our lives. If you're starting to feel that social media is bringing you down, it's time to pull back. It's time to do a bit of spring cleaning there. All right, moms, thank you so much for joining. If you know anyone who could use this type of help in their life and their business, please share this episode. Your sharing really helps us find new listeners for the show. All right, mamas, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And remember, no one has the right to treat you poorly, ever. And that includes you. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Small Biz Mama with Kristen Ingram. If you'd like to learn how to create more margin in your life, please visit us at smallbizmama.com. That's smallbizmama.com.